Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's so wonderful to be with you. I'm so excited to introduce you to 4 amazing guests that we have today that are right in alignment with our Stories of Hope series. Every single one of my guests has a story to tell, something to inspire you and help you make your life better. My first guest is Selvi Rengasami. Dr. Selvie guides women with gut diseases on the path to remission and beyond using her technique, methodology of integrative nutrition, energetics, and intuitive medicine. Having gone through her own personal journey with Crohn's disease and finding her own way to remission and beyond when Western medicine failed her, Dr. Selvie's passion lies in sharing her wisdom and insights with women that are on a similar path. Her expertise and interests extend into the areas of rewiring your mindset, energy healing, and reconnecting women to their own intuitive guidance. Dr. Selvie lives in New York City, loves to dance, travel, and explore in her free time. Welcome to the show today, Dr. Selvie.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Kornelia.
So good. I was telling you when we were meeting in the green room a little bit ago how awesome it is that you're here, because there's so many people that are facing all kinds of different issues right now. That everything just seems to be really inflamed out there in the world for people's health.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
What happened? What happened when you received your health crises? Because that's what happened.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease, an inflammatory disease of the digestive system, when I was in college. And basically my entire life, I'd had what doctors or what my family called a sensitive stomach, right? So it seemed like I was constantly having some sort of stomach virus or the other, upset stomach, diarrhea, that sort of thing, but didn't actually get diagnosed until I was in college. And things got really rough really quick. I wound up needing surgery within a couple of years. And one surgery started to lead to another, to another. And I was on this path of trying a medication, it not working, trying another medication, it not working. And just really frustrated. I knew I wanted to go to medical school. I had big hopes and big dreams, and my body seemed to be getting in the way. And it wasn't until several surgeries later and, trying to pick my doctor's brains and asking them what could actually help. Could diet play a role? Is there something I could do? Right. Until I finally realized I was done and I was drawing my line in the sand. And I was like, I don't care what I need to do. I will do anything. And that was a vow I made to myself. Right. And then that was when doors started to be open to me. And I started to understand that food plays a massive role, which intuitively always made sense, right? I'm eating food, it's going through my digestive system. How could it not affect inflammation that was there? So I started making tweaks and changes, and it started working. And I started feeling better. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of these medications have not been able to give me the kind of results that I'm feeling right now. So I went deeper down that rabbit hole, started exploring Eastern medicine, acupuncture, started to pick my acupuncturist brain, right? Well, what does this mean? What does that mean? She'd feel my pulse and she'd say, are you frustrated today? And I was like, well, by this point, I had already finished medical school. And I was like, well, I know 75 beats a minute, but how are you telling that I'm angry from my pulse or frustrated, right? So I started to understand that interplay between energy flow in the body and emotions and how that plays a role in symptomatology and illness and all of that. So I wound up finding more and more and more answers to the point where I got to remission. And then eventually I was like, I still wasn't feeling great, and I knew I wanted to feel well. That was always my goal. And so I kept going and getting deeper answers, doing spirituality, inner work, really unraveling all of the stories that were in my head and in my body to get to the truth of the matter, to get to what was really going on. And eventually I was able to get myself off of all medications. And I'm at a point right now where I am fully healed. I feel amazing. And somewhere along the line, the inner healer inside of me was like, I still want to help people. And I realized I could because I had learned so much along the way that really wasn't being translated to so many who were struggling. And that became my purpose. That became my calling. And so that was when I went to school for health coaching and put all these pieces together so that I could pay it forward and help other women who are struggling with gut health.
Wow, that's an incredible story.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you for healing yourself, for really, because when you first said like the thing that changed everything was in the beginning, then when you said, that's it, the line in the sand, I'm drawing the line in the sand, I want to be well.
Mhm.
I think that's a fight for life. That's a fight for, that's like standing up for, I'm fighting for you. I want to be well. I'm not accepting this. I want things to be better. And that's when you said everything changed.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the most frustrating things I felt was I would hear from my doctors, well, you need to adjust and just accept that you have a new normal. And I'm like, but there's nothing normal about this reality. Nothing. I mean, I was in my 20s. Other, friends of mine are going on trips and living life and what have you. And I'm stuck in pain all the time. And I was like, this is not a normal that I want any part of. So it took me, like I said, years to get to the point where I said, no, 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 no. It's time to write a new reality. I'm done.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And really you claimed your power in that, and also you claimed your own authority.
Mhm,
It's almost like when we talk about it from a spiritual perspective, that everything aligned, with the universe completely aligned to give you all the right people, the right resources. You're picking all the right brains,
mhm,
all the right things that, that we're now going to give you results for
mhm.
something that was really important to you, which was your well-being and being healthy.
Absolutely, because like you said, it was exactly that. The alignment started because I shifted and I said, I'm done. I was ready to receive whatever was meant for me, whatever was going to help me, whatever that looked like. And the world of holistic medicine for the longest time to my, trained Western medical brain was like, oh my God, that's woo-woo, that's out there. There's no studies, there's no any of this. And I had to open myself up to understand that there was possibility there. And that's when I was ready to learn and to understand and to integrate and to really heal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the more and more we're moving into our evolution, we're finding out that a lot of the medications aren't working, all the different side effects that are there,
Mhm,
and that the physical body has the ability to self-regenerate and self-heal if we have that belief system and if we can align with that. And
mhm.
then again, open up to what's possible, who are the people, what are the resources, what do I need to do, then the right all the right things will show up for you. But you do have to be the first one in the game to say I'm willing, right? That's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, that's
That's
probably
key.
everything. Yeah.
So what are you doing now? You're helping women. How does it work? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I work with women typically one-on-one, women who are struggling with either a gut health diagnosis. So it could be an autoimmune disease. They might not even have been diagnosed. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. The point is that they've been struggling with some sort of gut health dysfunction. It could be bloating, diarrhea, fatigue, constipation, mucus in the stool. I mean, you name it. There's a huge laundry list, right? Aches and pains in the body. Um, and these are usually women who have been struggling for months, years even, right? And they're tired. They've tried the Western medicine route. They may have tried some of the holistic things and they're still hitting a plateau. And yet they know deeper inside, they know that there is an answer, that there is a way, and they just haven't found it yet. So we work together and I help them to go deeper, to access the deeper layers that they haven't yet gone to see what it is that their body really needs, right? So it's a combination of physical health. What are the foods that your body needs? What are the lifestyle things that your body needs? What are the thought patterns that are playing out in your head, right? How is that affecting your physical health? And how can we start to rewrite that story? What are the emotions that haven't been processed that are also being stored inside the body? And how is that playing into what's going on right now? And where are the
Because
blocks?
because from what I know about what I've heard about the gut is that the gut communicates with the brain.
Absolutely. Yeah, the two are intimately related. You can't
Yeah,
help one without the other. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So it's really important. Now, do you use blood tests, or is that something that you do? Or
I actually don't do blood tests. So, I'm able to interpret any blood test that my clients might bring to me. But how I work is much more intuitive. So I'm able to, sort of do intuitive scans on their body. I'm able to feel into energetic blocks in their body, that sort of thing. And what's really interesting and what I have found is that when it comes to the human body, sort of what we were alluding to before is less is more. So nervous system regulation, right? Creating safety in the body, um, doing less things, but on a consistent basis allows their body to understand that it is safe to relax. It is safe to start repairing itself because it has this massive inherent ability to repair itself when we give it half a chance. So that's the approach that I like to use. Um, yeah,
yeah, it's such a good approach. It less is more. It's, when the body is sick or when we've been sick for a long time, the thing that we need
yes,
is rest and allowing a lot of space, and then the simple things to take really good care of ourselves, right? Which we've been ignoring that whole time.
absolutely. So it's
Yeah.
usually a massive permission slip to
Oh, yeah.
just drop. Yeah.
So good. With such good reminders. Now, how can people get in contact with you and find out a little bit more about what you do?
Absolutely. So I'd invite people to my website, which is www.drselvi.com, drselvi.com. I'm also on Facebook, my first and last name, or on Instagram at dr.selvi.coach.
So I'm so glad you came on the show. What do you want to leave the audience with today? What's the final words that you want to say?
What I'd like for people to really hear is whatever state you might be in right now, even if you've been struggling for years, even if things seem dire, there is a way forward. When you're ready. There is absolutely a way forward, and you don't need to settle for less than what you really truly want.
Yeah, it's almost like claim your life back, claim your health back,
Yeah.
claim your body back, claim your
Yeah,
body back. And some people have never even experienced feeling well for a long time. So that's also another thing. It's like we've settled and have allowed that type of lifestyle for a long time, and we don't even know what it's like anymore to experience the opposite. And that's not a quality of life, and that there is hope. And that's what you're saying.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So good, Dr. Selvie. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And we're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We've got our stories of hope, and our next guest today is Joseph Lombardi. He is the managing partner at Ironhawk Financial and is a distinguished figure in the world of finance. He's known for his dedication helping individual and business owners in the construction and blue collar industries to achieve financial stability. His career was profoundly shaped by personal and family tragedies, which brought to light the critical importance of comprehensive financial planning. Welcome to the show today, Joseph.
Thank you, Cornelia. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, do you want to take us into a story about what happened to you? What got this whole party started?
Yeah, so a few things. My life was shaped for me, I believe. When I was younger, about 12 years old, my dad took me into one of his clients' houses in Greenwich, Connecticut. Very wealthy house. He told me to go play with the client's child, his son, and he brought me downstairs in the basement. I was had a baseball field in the basement, had a basketball court in his basement. So, to make a long story short, I had an amazing time, and I got back into the work truck because it was just me and my dad. My mom left us when we were 4, so she can do drugs and party down in Boca Raton, Florida. So I got back in the truck, and I'm like, "Hey, what does that guy do?" And my dad said he works on Wall Street. So since I was 12 years old, I wanted to work on Wall Street, and I had no idea what that meant. But that's basically my first taste into my career. And then shortly after that, I mean, a few years later, I thought I was going to take over my dad's construction company. He owned JV Lombardi Builders, multi-million-dollar company, 9 trucks, 27 guys. And I was very excited. I was doing construction since I was like 10 years old, but he just had me doing like the rehabbing and the demo. So I ended up going, expecting to work for him. And shortly after that, I was about 15. My dad falls 3 stories off a ladder, a bone in his foot disintegrates, and here I am now. I'm a sophomore at Fairfield Ward. I had a sister that was born 2 pounds, 7 ounces, fetal alcohol syndrome. Her ex-stepmom drank vanilla extract and Listerine because my dad's been in AA since 91. So she couldn't bring alcohol into the house. So she snuck it in through Listerine and vanilla extract. And we didn't find out about that until after the divorce. We found a purse with a bunch of receipts, going to Stop and Shop at 1 o'clock and then going to Big Y at 3 o'clock, buying all this vanilla extract and Listerine. Why is she buying so much of this? And then sure enough, we figured that out. So my stepmom's in rehab, and then living in a trailer. My dad's in a hospital and I'm not 18. So I basically had to raise my sister. I dropped out of football, track, and basketball at Fairfield Ward, and I started working at Child's Garden on Mona Terrace in Fairfield. So I would ride my bike to school. I would drop her off. I would then go to high school. After high school, 2 o'clock, I'd go work there till 6 when they closed just to get some money in. And then I used to walk down Tunx's Hill and go to like Burger King or, just feed us. It wasn't an adult in the house really. So that really shaped me, knowing that my dad was so successful, had so much money, but he didn't have any foundation. He had no life insurance, disability, long-term care. He didn't have a pension. He didn't even have health insurance. So his $3 million he had saved for retirement all went to medical bills. So literally he lost everything.
Wow.
And that was my first taste of getting into this industry. And then there's 2 more stories. So
Wow, I mean, that right there is already enough, to get you motivated in the right direction. It's neat how you told the story about, the house you went to in Connecticut and how you were down in the basement and how you said you wanted this, you wanted this type of lifestyle and that, because that's what it was showing you that this costs a lot of money. We have to have a lot of money, which probably then made you say, I want to work on Wall Street because you were like, I got to have the money, got to make the money, right? Because you're not going to get it on a 9 to 5. You're not going to get that kind of money to have a basketball court or whatever in the basement, right?
yeah, it was eye-opening. I've never seen it. I called it Chuck E. Cheese on steroids because he had every game that you can imagine, like years before it even came out. I mean, I don't know what store these wealthy people purchase from, but it's not us ordinary folk that we have access to, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So you started your company now. You started your company, right? And now you're helping people have a foundation so that if things happen in life, healthcare, life insurance, all the things you have all those things in your company that you're helping people with.
Yeah, so I mean, how I started my company, actually, I was 19 years old. I was bartending at Sakura, very high-end Japanese hibachi restaurant in Westport, Connecticut. And people like Martha Stewart, Paul Newman would come in regularly. It was awesome. I'd go outside for my break and I would see Lambo, Ferrari. It was just crazy, just crazy. So the CEO of Northwestern Mutual comes in. He had an office, I think his name was Philip Bender. He owned Bender Financial Group back in 2003. So I ended up serving him, and he said it was the best service he ever had. What are you studying? He gave me like $100 tip. And I said, oh, I'm studying finance and economics at Southern Connecticut State University. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, I want to work in Wall Street, still really not knowing anything really about it. And he goes, oh, I own a financial planning company. You want to come work with me? I said, yeah. So he hired me on the spot, and I started, going into owning my own business really at 19, with his, help. And that's really what got me started. And then, I started my own firm about 5 years ago, Ironhawk Financial. And it was the best decision. I worked at Northwestern, and then MetLife recruited me. I worked at their #1 office in Manhattan and Shelton, Connecticut. I then was recruited by Mass Mutual. They offered me a ton of money to join them. And then Guardian came knocking. It was like almost every 4 years I would get a phone call from a headhunter. Hey, you want to absorb an amount of money to switch your book of business and and your new business to us? And I'm like, 6 figures plus, and I get to keep my clients. Okay. Um, and then I realized like half of what I was earning was just being stolen from me from the general agents and all the upline and sales manager. And I didn't need any of that. I was already in the business at that point for 14 years, 15 years. I'm like, I've been running my own business. I don't need to give away half of my labor for what? Like I didn't use any of the resources. I have my own marketing. I have my own team. So that's when I just decided to go out on my own, and it was the best decision I could have ever done.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
That was October of 18. So that was 5 years ago going on.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, it's like you knocked out the middleman, right? Because you're pretty much you were pretty much the main man, and you just knocked out the middleman, and then began to formulate your own. But we had to learn all these things. We had to learn all these life experiences in order to get us there. How can people look you up on social media and find you and learn more about about your company and all the different things that you offer?
So a little bit about myself. I've written 3 books on Amazon, one called Being Your Own Bank, another one called There's a Better Way Than a 401k, and my third one is Long-Term Care Without Long-Term Pain. All of those can be purchased on Amazon, but I do offer them for free. Any of your listeners that wants to send me an email to joe@ironhawkfinancial.com and just say, hey, can you please send me some free books? I've also been featured in International Business Times, Business Insider, and Market Insider. I'm 5-star rated on Google. I'm A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. I'm licensed in all 50 states. I have 1,600 clients, over $1 billion, work with 3 Fortune 500 companies. You can go to the website, ironhawkfinancial.com. That has a 3-minute video about what I do, has all my books, has all the different accolades. I've won 27 industry awards in 21 years. So basically, if someone wants to get a hold of me, go to my website. I'll have my business cell phone there. There's a contact us form there, that you can fill out your name, your phone number, and your email. And, myself or someone on my team will reach out to you to set a meeting on my calendar.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I love Be Your Own Bank. I was watching that movie on Netflix. It was so great. Did you see it about Be Your Own Bank? I can't remember the name of it exactly.
I believe I have, this strategy has become very popular recently, but I've been doing it for 21 years. So it's very exciting, when people are learning about it and they're reaching out to me. You can really save millions of dollars in taxes. There's no 59.5-year rule. There's no 10% penalty. It's been earning over 15% tax free over the last 20 years. How come I haven't heard about that?
Is that in your book? Is that in your book, Be Your Own Bank?
Yeah, it teaches people how to use overfunded cash value life insurance. And there's 2 articles on Forbes about it, one written by a CPA, a certified public accountant at SLA, and another one written by a certified financial planner that teaches you how to save a lot of money in fees, how to save a ton of money in taxes, how to leverage your retirement while you're still healthy, smart, and working, so you can make 2 streams of revenue on $1. It's what a
Yeah.
lot of my clients do.
Well, we should definitely have you come back to the show to have a longer discussion so we can learn more about these things because I think, you've definitely sparked interest there for people. Yeah, they want to hear more, they want to know more. So I want to thank you, Joseph, for coming on. We're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to introduce you now to our next guest, and I just called her Medicine Woman. That was intuitively what I felt called to give that name to her. She's Andrea Bailey-Tweed, and she spent decades of her life in radio and television broadcasting, along with her top-level work as communications professional within the United States government before she suffered a health crisis which led her down a downward spiral. Countless doctor visits, surgeries, and medication were unsuccessful as her health continued to deteriorate. Taking charge of her destiny and health, she employed the power of aromatherapy with miraculous results. Today, she's a certified aromatherapist and founder of Earth's Own Essentials LLC. Her goal is to empower people to be more proactive with their health care. Andrea Bailey-Tweed, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Cornelia. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. So it's again, we're finding that a lot of our Western medicines are no longer working for our evolution in moving forward, right? And they're no longer helping us get to the root, heal from these diseases or whatever it is.
I think that our pharmaceutical companies have become complacent in that what has worked and what has gone along is acceptable. And for myself, particularly, I went through hell in the medical system. I ended up, as you said, I had a wonderful career. And one day I got up, I went to work. I was in a federal building and exiting and fell down a bazillion steps outdoors. Of course, I was hurt. Of course, I was embarrassed, and you don't. So you get up and you think everything's fine. But a month later, I was still hurting horribly. And that led them into discovering musculoskeletal conditions. If we do some surgery here, this will fix it and you'll be fine. And I did the surgery and then I got sick from the medications. And then one illness led to another illness, led to other operations. And I went down that slippery slope. And it was to the point after 7 surgeries and God knows how many side effects of numerous different medications. And they, put you on an antidepressant and muscle relaxers and pain pills. And you're telling them none of them are working. And no doctor doesn't want you to know more than you know, or to inquire about your own health care. And even as recently as 2024, a doctor wrote on my medical report that she still thinks she's supposed to be proactive in her own health care. She's a quote unquote certified aromatherapist, as though it should be a slap in the face. It wasn't to me. I grew up, my grandmother was a Cherokee Indian. Many times in the years of us growing up as children, she would make concoctions that you would want to run from, but every single time within 24 hours, I was up and I was better. So I got to the point, this isn't something you pridefully say, I was ready to leave here. I was absolutely giving up because I thought there was no more help. I couldn't walk. I couldn't take care of myself. And the people, chiropractors, massage therapists, and other herbalists were trying to support my efforts to get better and suggested that I ask one of the orthopedic specialists about a particular condition. And they told me, that's not what it is. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. So I kind of insisted. And unfortunately, that was what the situation was at that time prior to surgery. And I got up in the hospital the next morning expecting that they were going to be taking me to surgery and they were going to fix everything. And instead, they had written my papers and told my husband to take me to a long-term care facility because there was nothing else they could do to help me.
Oh my God.
That moment I thought was the end. And I don't think, as much as I love the Lord, I have ever prayed harder. I was having real bad thoughts about what to do. And in that moment of grace, my grandmother came to me in my sleep and reminded me of all the many things that she had taught me and that we had learned about natural healing when I was younger. So I got up the next day. My husband and I discussed it, and I began that journey of learning first off everything that I needed to do to take care of this terrain. We forget, particularly as women, how important it is to take care of ourselves, because you can't give to anybody else if you don't give to yourself, you know. And so we ordered lots of things and books and everything else. And within months, I had created what probably no person should have done in one bulk, but I just threw in the whole kitchen sink. And surprisingly, that worked for me. I would slather myself, and these are not things as a certified aromatherapist I would tell people, but I was desperate and I was new. And however, even with saying that, the oils knew what to do. And slowly but surely, I got feelings back in my legs, and I was able to stop hurting so bad that I spit my brain out on medications. I could think clearly. I could feel impulses again. And after several months, I was able to stand. And I slowly but surely over the next year returned to good health, not perfect health, but good health. I don't have to live on pain pills. I don't live on antidepressants. I don't take muscle relaxers, but I do. I use my oils and I use them regularly, and I share them with anyone who wants to try something else to help themselves get better.
This is an incredible story. It's just incredible. You'd already been at the end now after 7 surgeries, and where you were, you had, they were gonna send you to a rehab place that there isn't anything else they can do, and basically send you home. And it's pretty much the end. And you said you prayed harder than you ever prayed, which is it's such a call and such a cry for, help me.
It
I
was help me or take me home.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
that desperate, yes.
yeah, so it was really that. And I love the dream that your grandmother came. When you said that, I actually got, that your lineage is a lineage of women, again, medicine women. They know what to do. They know what to do. And that your grandmother came and reminded you of that. And then you said, once you must have felt God's call inside. Uh,
Absolutely.
you must have felt that. Okay,
Yeah.
it's on. We've got you.
Mhm.
I've got
I
you, right?
I still feel that.
That's
I
so
still
good.
feel it. There's not a day that I wake up, no matter what is going on, that I can't first say, thank you, God, I can stand up.
It's almost like that the relationship that you have now with God, that relationship, it's almost like whatever all that was before made all that worth it, because so many good things have come out of it since then. So many good things. I can tell you right now that I want to have you back on for another show, and I want to talk longer with you about it,
I
because
would love to.
I want to hear about the oils. I want to hear about the oils, and we're already coming to a close with our segment here. So I want to hear about the oils because you developed these oils.
Yes.
It's now your company. And
Mhm.
I mean, so when I was asking you before, I was asking you, is it, Young Living? Is it doTERRA? What is it? And you said you developed your own, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about that. We'll have Ashley connect you with me, and we'll book another longer show where we can go in depth. But for
I
now,
look forward to
let's
it.
tell the audience where they can find you on social media and where they can look up more about your oils.
Okay. You can look me at www.earthsownessentials.com, Facebook, Earth's Own Essentials Oils, and the same on Instagram, Earth's Own Essentials. I can
So,
also be reached if someone wants to direct call for a consultation at 614-670-2108. And our business email is earthsownbusiness@gmail.com.
that's so good. Now, your earth, your oils, are they good for other things as well? Like,
Oh,
are they,
yes. I stock, I travel annually, and because I'm a small business, I try my best to find the best quality oils that I can, also that are sustainable, also that are organic and small farmers, so that I'm supporting businesses. So I travel to other countries. I've met many distillers, or some I've just actually reached out and contacted over the years after I got my certifications, and have established that I buy my own. Lots of people, there's something we talk about, GCMS reports, that certifies the quality of your oil. Many places, and I do the same, I'll ask my distillers about GCMS reports. Do I provide them? I provide my distillers because I don't have that level of income yet. But
yeah.
I make sure that I provide high quality, just like Young Living or doTERRA or better.
Yeah.
And all my blends are made by myself, proprietary. We make some for the general population, and I also make some per person, per whatever their healthcare desires or needs
So
are.
good. This is so good. I just
Thank you.
congratulate you so much for, reclaiming your health, reclaiming your gifts, your vitality, and may you help many people.
I hope so.
I want to thank you for coming on the show, Andrea. We're going to
Thank
take a
you.
break on the Kornelia Stephanie show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited. Jeff Buehner is here. 30 years ago, Jeff came across the writings of the richest man to ever walk the earth, Sultan Musa of Mali. No one ever came close to this guy's wealth, not Jeff Bezos, not Elon Musk. The Sultan could not talk openly about how he learned these secrets, so he embedded the principles of his success in a fairy tale so compelling that centuries later, nearly everyone in the world is familiar with it. At the age of 12, Musa had a near death experience in which he met a man made of light who taught him how the world works and how creation works. Contained in his writings is something called the language of the gods. When you speak this language, the world obeys your commands. As Jeff just dabbled in speaking this language, some very strange coincidences occurred. So he got serious about speaking it, and his whole world changed. He went from $60,000 a year, concrete guy, to making hundreds of $1,000s a month in a new business that just dropped into his lap. Over the past 30 years, Jeff has successfully mentored, coached countless others to speak this all important language that changes everything. When you learn to speak the language of the gods, you can drastically improve your sales, success, fitness, relationships, anything else you desire. It's all contained within Jeff's book, The Sultan's Seven Secret. Welcome to the show today, Jeff Buehner.
Kornelia, thank you so much for having me on.
I was telling you, this is so right up my alley because I do believe that at this stage of the game, and I'll just say now, because I'm not talking about the past and I'm not talking about the future, I'm talking about now, that we do have the ability to speak our reality into existence, our world into existence, uh, in ways that is for our highest and best good. The responsibility that comes along with that. So, since this is my belief, and since this is what I'm currently also very much focused on in my life, it's so perfect that the universe delivered you here today, so that you and I can have this conversation. So, what is it that you want to say about this? Why is it that I've never heard of it?
You know, that's a great question. I had never heard of Sultan Musa of Mali until a lady handed me a manuscript and said, read this tonight and bring it back to me tomorrow. Now, the reason she did that is because I was complaining about my life. I was telling her how frustrated I was, how I worked harder than anyone I knew. And yet there were all these yuppies driving around in their BMWs and seemed to have it a lot easier than me. And right in the middle of that complaining, Kornelia, she turned around and walked away. It was a really embarrassing moment for me. But then
Wow.
she came back and gave me this manuscript. I call it a manuscript. It's just a stack of papers clipped together.
Huh. So, okay, go ahead.
Well, I read the first page and stayed up all night reading the rest of it and taking notes. It talked about the real life story of Sultan Musa of Mali, but it started when he was very young. His father died, and this plunged him and his mother into the kind of poverty that nobody in the West can really understand. He had to steal food to stay alive.
Mm.
Now, he got good at it, and so he was recruited at the age of 12 by an older thief to pull off this tremendous heist. And they did, they pulled it off. But instead of sharing the wealth with Musa, the older thief sealed him in a cave and left him to die, which he did. After several days with no food, no water, he perished. And he had what we would call a near-death experience, in which he met this man made of light and love, who taught him crazy things like how the world works, how creation works, how you work, and showed him, why is Jeff Buehner Jeff Buehner? Why can people count on me acting a certain way? Why do I have this personality? And why are you you? You know, why will you act differently, think differently, get different results? And what he showed him is that everybody is just playing a role. Now, we're dedicated to this role. We're in character, and we stay in character. But the thing that you alluded to, but didn't give the title of, and I want to talk about that right now, because in Musa's writings, there was something called the language of the gods. And he said, anything you say in this language, the world obeys your commands. And as soon as I read that, how to speak that language, I knew it was true. It was perfectly easy to see in other people. A little harder for me to accept seeing in myself, but I still knew it was true. I knew I had put myself exactly where I was in life. That was kind of the bad news, but the good news was I knew I could put myself anywhere I really wanted to. The fairy tale that Musa embedded the secrets of his unbelievable success once he came back from this experience is Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Antoine Galland was absolutely honest about this. He didn't write that story. He just translated it from ancient texts written by Sultan Musa of Mali. But Musa wrote extensively, not just the fairy tale, but a long description of everything he learned from the man made of light and a tutorial regarding how to speak this language, what he called the language of the gods. So I'm going to take you to the fairy tale and talk about the three main elements and teach you exactly what they represent. And at the end of that, I'm going to give your audience a gift that is worth more than rubies and gold. And I mean it. I've used it to have an absolutely magical life. And I'm just a normal Joe. I didn't have any great extra education. I work pretty hard, but you know people who work hard and still are struggling, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just working hard.
So let me ask you this before you take us into the fairy tale and do,
Okay.
you said you were going to do. Is that going to take longer than 3 minutes?
No, I think I can do it in 3 minutes. And then I'll give away the book and people can be speaking the language of the gods by this afternoon if they want to.
Okay.
So here we go.
Yeah.
First element, you got Aladdin. Aladdin represents you, or that part of you that you think of as you. This is your conscious mind. Then you have the all-powerful genie who can get you anything you want if you know how to command it in the only language it obeys. This all-powerful genie represents something Musa called the veiled mind, but we're all familiar with the subconscious mind. Now we come to the best part of the story. This is the magic lamp. This changes everything for Aladdin. It changed everything for Musa, and it changed everything for me. The magic lamp represents the language of the gods. It's the communication taking place between the conscious and subconscious mind. And when you speak it this way, the subconscious mind believes anything you say, and anything it believes, it will make true in your physical realm over time. So what's the language? It's not the words that come out of your mouth. It's feelings. Now, don't just gloss over this. Don't think, oh, yeah, that Hicks lady says get in the feel of the thing you want. No, it's way more important than that. Feelings is the only language your subconscious mind hears, and obeys. That's the best word. It obeys. It believes every one of your feelings, and its one job is to keep your life congruent with your predominant feelings. Now, you can download my book. I'm going to give it away for free, and you can be speaking this language effectively, and you will not have to take my word for any of this. You change the way you speak to your subconscious mind in feelings, not words, not thoughts, feelings, and you will see weird coincidences start popping up. And it won't be on the first one or the 10th one, but at some point you're going to go, oh my gosh, I did that. I'm doing that. I made that happen. So download the book, go to sultans7secrets.com. That's sultans with the number 7 secrets.com, and be speaking the language of the gods tonight.
I'm going to leave it there. Jeff Buehner, you're going to come back on another show for the Kornelia Stephanie show. We'll talk about this further. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for the magic, the gift, because we're here to co-create our new earth. And there's nothing better than having the tools and the resources that we need, that we can create a world in which we want to live in. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks everybody for listening and tuning in. We'll see you again next time. Take care.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.